still growing.
I'm 63. I'm 63.
I'm never going to be as big as you.
Je voulais juste dire quelques mots. Ça sera pas très long, mais il faut absolument souligner le départ de Trevor chez nous pour pouvoir souligner la personne qu'il est, souligner tout ce qu'il a fait pour nous, puis souligner comment on l'apprécie.
Qu'on l'aime!
Oui, oui. Je voulais juste dire un petit mot. Ça résume un petit peu ce que j'ai écrit dans son livre, mais c'est vraiment le sens de tout ce qui se passe. Premièrement, je voulais remercier sa famille, Stu, Kira, Kaylee, Dustin et Luca d'être ici. Excusez. Je veux aussi remercier tout le monde qui ne travaille plus ici, qu'ils soient retraités ou en train d'apprécier la vie, d'être ici aussi pour souligner la collaboration de Trevor. Je voulais aussi parler que Trevor, sa générosité est appréciée. Trevor, il a toujours une vision globale, une vision totale et veut toujours le mieux pour tout le monde. Il a une vision familiale super importante. L'ONF fait partie de sa famille. Merci Trevor pour ta soft-spokenness. That's the first thing I can think of every time somebody goes to you and basically brings up any crazy ideas, and you know I always bring things outside the box, crazy ideas, and he thinks a little bit and goes, and then he always goes like, did you think of the possibility of this? Always super nice, super agreeable, softly addressing all the issues, always having this global vision of making sure everybody's taken care of. Everybody is addressed and the best thing for the NFB is happening. So, yeah, Trevor is always thinking of people. He walks down the corridor, I'll miss that, sing-songy, with getting his coffee in the morning. I can hear him going there, I can hear him, yes, going to get his coffee, or at lunch, getting his sandwich, his vegetables. Yes, maybe sometimes some chips, when he's feeling, you know. I don't want to stool you, sorry. He's always positive, and I really, really have been crying in my heart the last year, and I will be crying for real when you're gone. I'm gonna miss you every day. I'm gonna miss you being there, but I'm so happy for you. So happy that you go back, take care of your family, take care of your people, do things you want to do. Do things like go out kayaking on the lake, go do some music with people that you like, go out and basically enjoy life. So I'm feeling you're so lucky, and I'm so happy for you. So congratulations. Thank you for everything you have done for us.
Trevor! Now you're in trouble. Get over here. Get over here. Trevor, you remember me.
I sure do.
What do you remember the most?
I remember your voice sounding like an AM radio disc jockey.
All right!
Jack Horowitz here, Trevor. I remember, well, there's a lot we can't talk about.
Thank heavens. I remember that I would come in from Ottawa and I would check in with this guy because he grounded everything. You're absolutely right. When you came to Trevor, he would be very calm and I would be like really going crazy and he'd say, just cool it, it's all right. You'll make it through. But he was also the one who had the most wisdom and the most truth about the things that were happening on the ground here, which I wasn't totally aware of. But he knows all the secrets. And one day he's going to write the book on them. But the best part of it is his musical career, which I now think, now that he's into having the time and the energy to do all this, he's going to go on viral video and make it. But I just wanted to say thank you very much for being you. You're wonderful. Anybody else? There, your hand.
No, I want. No, I don't want to stand up on the table. It's a strange mixture of emotions that I have. À la fois, il y a une tristesse et un deuil d'un côté et de l'autre. Je suis excité, il y a une renaissance qui émerge. So it's you know, the two extremes. And thinking of that actually kind of dovetails with my personal life right now. We've recently lost my mother-in-law, and I've got a 90-year-old father who's kind of failing, and a 90-year-old father-in-law who's very fragile, and I've got a daughter who's pregnant with my first grandchild. So. So both professionally and personally, there's that mixture going on. You know, I'm not somebody who, if I'm given a chance to say a few words, I usually can find some words to say. Veronica Barton. I prepared a few words. Sit down, make yourself comfortable. No, it won't take too long, but when I first saw the NFB logo, I was 8 years old in grade 3, and on the big screen in Roxborough Elementary School, in the gymnasium, I saw Bill Mason's The Rise and Fall of the Great Lakes. And when the logo came up at the end, the film just completely captivated me. And when that logo came up at the end, I never forgot it. And anyone who knows me a little bit probably knows about my environmental passions and my paddling passions. They may have started with Bill Mason watching that film. So fast forward from grade 3. It's 1989. And I'm 29 years old. Sue and I have one child, and we're pregnant with our second. And I'm working on a master's degree, an MA in sociology. I defended my thesis in February, and in March the phone rang, and it was Peggy Fothergill. Some of you will remember Peggy. And Peggy offered me my first 6-month contract with Filmwork. And that's sort of the end of the story. But really, when I first walked into the film board, for me it was hallowed ground. It was a sacred place. And that summer, Donald Britton died, and the entire staff attended his funeral at Christ Church Cathedral downtown. And the church was filled with thousands of people. And it was clear that Britain's reach was immense, and I felt like I was part of something very, very large and important. That same summer, the NFB celebrated its 50th anniversary. And the film board was still filled with staff filmmakers at the time. Many of the early, even some of the original filmmakers and producers were here. The cafeteria was filled with smoke and rancor and debate, like screaming debate. Studio D was rocking the place. There were film stock cutting bins littered throughout the hallways. There were theaters everywhere. There were 6 theaters, I think, at the time, a camera department, a lab. Rough cut screenings and heated feedback sessions were ongoing all the time. And that was all before the massive cuts in the mid-90s. Pause. Initially, I was an FO3. We could ask HR what that means, but they probably don't remember at this point. It was a film officer, level 3. I don't know, a lot of us seem to be FO3s. I was with English program marketing. There were 60 folks in English program marketing at that time. An education group, a community group, and a women's forum marketing group. They're based on using massive printouts from the VAX that took 3 weeks to run a report on. No PCs, no fax machines, no cell phones, no internet. So I've seen the film board go from 16 and 35 millimeter film to video, first 3/4 inch, then beta, then VHS, to Laserdisc, to CD-ROM, to dial-up internet, to integrated financial systems, to online stores and online transactions, DVD copy, NFB.ca streaming, campus subscriptions, DTO, VOD, to Born Digital Productions, interactive productions, immersive experiences, installations, VR, AR. An amazing evolution when you think about it over that period of time. In my heart of hearts, I am grateful. I'm grateful to have spent 30 years working in the midst of artists, on the one hand, and Ottawa bureaucratic imperatives on the other. For all this time I've supported the NFB, it has supported me and my family. It's not always been rosy, however. Howard Crust. It's been truly a love-hate relationship. Sue used to, or maybe often, quip, "Oh, so today you love the NFB again." So it's been up and down for sure. But it's helped us to raise our 4 healthy children, now young adults. And I know it's cliche to say, but it's truly been my second family. Together we've shared our loves, our marriages, divorces, births, deaths, laughter, tears, and even some music. And throughout the 30 years, filled with changing political, economic, cultural, technological changes, we've reinvented ourselves several times and in several ways. The NFB has evolved, and I have evolved with it. And here we are on the cusp of the latest transformation, with the move to Balmoral and the need to reinvent ourselves yet again. If there's one key message or learning that I would underscore, it's the importance of us continuously demonstrating value to the Canadian people. And always remember that at the end of the day, the NFB is a public service. We're not here to serve ourselves. We're here to serve the Canadian people. I would be remiss on this occasion, of all occasions, if I were to neglect to mention a good friend and colleague, Bill McRae. A pillar of the NFB for over 20 years, He died much too young. Bill would always remind me, particularly if I was having a bad day, he would say, Trevor, remember, it's all pensionable time. And in my case, he was right. In closing, a wise man, Ricardo de Fonseca, I don't know if Ricardo's here. He recently shared a couple of words with me which helped me to deal with the mixed emotions that I'm having wrapped up in saying goodbye and in this chapter. He said, don't be sad it's over, be happy that it happened. And I am. Sincere thanks to all of you for your support over the years. Long vie ONF, long live the NFB. So in 1990, or I think, yeah.
No, 91.
91.
91. Lucas was in the hospital.
Lucas was in the hospital. Alanis was making one of the films from the Playing Fair series called Walker. And Walker features a dog named Dylan, and that dog is my dog, Dylan. Dylan was, I've had dogs all my life, and I know a lot about dogs. He is the most brilliant dog that ever walked the planet. And you can watch him when you go home tonight. And Alanis was directing, so I had a chance to kind of hang out with her over a few days. Wolf Koenig was producing. It was a really precious kind of experience for me, including Larry Bush was driving the car, and he would come and pick up. He would come and pick up Dylan to go to work each day, and I got to ride like with him, of course. And then
So there you are, drinking your coffee, watching your dog.
But how did you do that? Thank you so much. And it's all signed, and that's so cool.
Okay.
Oh, that's exactly right.
What a coincidence!
We asked your wife, she knows.
Thanks to Sue.
It's binoculars, fantastic binoculars, expressly for bird watching, which I do a lot of. And I've needed these. About 40 years ago, my father-in-law loaned me an old pair of binoculars that belonged to your great uncle.
Yeah.
And for 40 years, those binoculars were my binoculars. And about a year ago, they fell apart. And I've been angling for exactly this set of binoculars for about a year. So thank you very much.
Now I have something to say.
Oh.
Maintenant, j'ai quelque chose à dire. Donc, il y a à peu près 2 semaines, on était avec Trevor et Naïm dans le A1991. Ouais. En train de parler de données, et tout à coup, Trevor s'arrête complètement et il nous dit c'est quoi les oiseaux qu'il voit par la fenêtre. Je pense qu'il est déjà un petit peu parti.
I apologize.
So speaking of birds, we have 2 birds here. One was walking in when you walked in, and one is walking out when you're walking out. So this is your NFB cake, an old picture that Katie Silverstone sent us when you were how old? 29?
Yeah, 29. Yeah.
And then that maybe you in maybe the last 5 years, I'm not sure.
That actually, this is Elena Vegas. Is Elena here?
Wedding. She's here, yes.
This was at Elena's wedding. She was kind enough to ask me to play music at her wedding, which I did, and this was me chilling before the picture. So yeah, that's in the last maybe 8 years, Elena. When were you married? 8 years ago? Yeah. I don't forget this.
You look the same. You look the same.